I go to work like a doctor. When I rock the mic, you got to like the way I operate.
Hello, everybody. I'm Granville Emerson, and welcome to LidLine Sports, along with my co-host Renault, Pepe Bean, and Otis Stevenson, rocking the Seahawks Russell Wilson #3 throwback jersey. It costs too much to buy a new one.
These things are expensive, man. And I just got this like a year ago.
So can you trade that in for a 7? What's up, Pepper?
What's up? What's up?
Hey, we back to Seattle. That's all I can say. It's just rain, more rain. But you know, we didn't have some for 100+ days, so guess we can't complain.
Yep. Right.
I want to give a shout out to, I hated to see the cheating Houston Astros win the World Series. But as I said, I would like to see, Pep, that, do you know who my favorite baseball team is?
LA Dodgers.
Yeah. So Dusty Baker is a former Dodger, by the way. So I wanted to see him finally, after 73 years, win a World Series. He won. He's a 73-year-old manager for the Houston Astros. That is phenomenal that he is still managing at 73 years old. Hey, Michael Carter, what's up? Got you this week. And so kudos to him. And I still don't like the Astros, but I'm happy for Dusty Baker.
Yep, me too.
Beating the Philadelphia Phillies.
Good
So
series.
you look like you got your lips fixed to say something. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I'm saying it was a good series, by the way, too. I mean, I think the Phillies gave, pretty much everything they got. The pitching was inconsistent for them, starting pitching. But, I mean, the Houston Astros outside the Dodgers were the most consistent team throughout baseball. They were the best team in baseball, and they proved that. Justin Verlander finally woke up out of his little playoff spout. And that dude, Pena, their rookie, I know he was dubbed to be like another great rookie outside of Julio Rodriguez, and he didn't have that good of a regular season, but boy, he
Heck
got
of a postseason.
hot.
He had a heck of a postseason.
Yeah, that boy got hot in the postseason, so shout out to him as well. But yeah, shout out to the
Golden Glove winner, though.
Yeah, Golden Glove winner. Yep.
But his bat was sizzling in the playoffs.
Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good to know we weren't the only ones that couldn't stop him.
Yeah, Phillies were up 2-1. They thought they were about on their way to winning it, but they lost the pivotal game 5. And then, when that happens, you got to go back to Houston and try to win 2. You knew that wasn't going to happen.
Nope.
I want to talk about, I promised Andrew Schroeder, and I'm not going to go back on my word. I want to talk about, because they're worthy. I watched the game. The New York Football Jets, 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 beat who everybody was saying. It's funny how things change with one game.
Right.
Buffalo was the talked about favorite to win the Super Bowl. Josh Allen was the MVP of the league, and they lose to the Jets, and that all just went out the window. They're talking about the Bills ain't that good, and Josh Allen, he's thrown 6 interceptions in the last 4 games or something like that. That stat could be wrong, but it's something crazy like that.
Mhm.
What are your thoughts on that, Pep? You're a Jersey guy.
I am.
Dude.
Yep. I actually attended a few Jets games. But it wasn't, trust me, it wasn't nothing special because it was pretty quiet most of the time because they was always getting beat. But Hey, I didn't see the game at all, except I was watching Red Zone, so they would do their cut-ins, and it was surprising that you see Buffalo go up to 14-3 lead, and then they pretty much didn't do anything else after that, and then the Jets came back and as you know, won the game 20-17. But man, the Jets can't beat the Patriots, but they can beat the Bills, I guess. So you know how the NFL is. Geez, we say it every week. It's a
Yeah.
week league.
So Otis, give me your thoughts, and I'm gonna go back to that, Pep.
I mean, I think it's it's dope to see. I mean, we know that. I mean, the Jets are a big market franchise. We're talking about a team who has been under 500 since 2015.
Wow.
We know these last 2 years they were really bad. So seeing them finally, turning around and having this big win at home against, just like you said, Super Bowl favorite in Buffalo Bills is just like, yeah, I mean, they're finally maybe starting to turn this tide of being a good football team again. And that dude, Sauce Gardner, man, he's the real deal out there, cornerback, man. So yeah, shout out to the Jets. They look like they're finally turning the corner.
Yeah. Oh, you mentioned Sauce Gardner, and if you guys remember, during the draft, he was the guy I was hoping would fall to the Seahawks.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were hoping, but that he was projected too high for that to happen. But hey, we got the next best thing. I mean, he won the defensive back award in college. Kobe Bryant, number 8 for the Seahawks. So
yeah,
they really got the next best thing, and not being able to get Sauce Gardner. Kobe Bryant is leading the league in forced fumbles or something like that.
Yep, that's correct.
And so they've made out very well. The game was this, Pep, you didn't get to watch it. It was boiled down to the Jets' defense is tough. And Sauce Gardner in particular made plays. And their front four, they got to Josh Allen with just 4, Pep.
Man.
With just 4. No need to blitz.
Mm-hmm.
Just 4. I had a big play to begin the game to Stephon Diggs. That was like the very first play of the game, and Buffalo scored. But they're pretty much quiet after that. And the other side of that was the reason why the Jets lost to the Patriots the week before. Remember, we talked about that.
Mm-hmm.
Because Zach Wilson was just throwing the ball and putting the ball in harm's way. Well, yesterday, he took a page out of Geno Smith's book.
Mm-hmm.
And he did not put the ball in harm's way. He did not have any turnovers. And that enabled them to stay in the game and win the game.
Awesome.
And Garrett Wilson was killing. Rookie from Ohio State. Matter of fact, do you know how Garrett Wilson got to New York? Anybody know this story?
Nope.
Well, he was picked in the draft with the draft pick that was traded to the New York Jets to get Jamal Adams.
Nice.
Yeah. That's how he ends up with the Seahawks pick in the first round. The New York Jets select Garrett Wilson, and he is straight out balling. Like,
well, good for them.
Yeah, good, yeah, Pep, like you said, good for them. Very, very good for them. Actually, the Jamal Adams trade has helped them basically shape their team. I mean, they had last year drafted a offensive lineman with the Seattle Seahawks pick, who starts now, and so with that offensive lineman and Garrett Allen, a wide receiver, they got 2 really good picks out of that trade for Jamal Adams. So Jets fans are happy. Have the Jets finally arrived? I don't know. It was a good win against Buffalo. They'll have to follow that up with some more good wins, just like every other team in the NFL. They have a bye week this week, which is really good to win going into the bye. And then they come back and get a chance to redeem themselves against the Patriots again. All right, so we'll see what happens with the New York Football Jets. All right, and so there is my promise being held, and so now we can go right to the fraud report and see if the Jets are on the fraud report, or did you take them off the fraud report, Pep?
Oh, Daniel's funny. Well, first, before I get into the fraud report, I got breaking news. Well, what's been happening most of the day, that the Indianapolis Colts fired Frank Reich. He's been dismissed of his duties as head coach. This comes, of course, 2 weeks after Jim Irsay, the Colts owner, gave the dreaded vote of confidence that Reich's job is safe. So, anytime you get a vote of confidence, you're in trouble. Yeah. So, he recently replaced Matt Ryan as quarterback with Sam Ellinger. And, of course, losing yesterday to the Patriots, who has been in a kind of a minor flux of their own, with the quarterback situation with Mac Jones and Bailey Zappi. But, they beat the Colts 26-3. And apparently that was the last straw getting blown out. I said to myself that had the Colts, still lost like 26-24, that, Frank Reich would probably still be the coach, at least for this week. But since they got blown out, Irsay had enough. And so so it doesn't look like, I don't think he'll be unemployed for very long, because he was a very good coordinator. To be personally, I'd love for the Steelers to fire Matt Canada immediately and look to hire Frank Reich, but it probably won't happen. So that's neither here nor there. But the big news after the fact is the fact that the Colts went ahead and hired Jeff Saturday, ex-center for the Colts, Peyton Manning center, and he also played for the Packers with Aaron Rodgers as well. So he's playing under center of 2 Hall of Fame quarterbacks. And so he has no head coaching experience whatsoever, unless you want to count the fact that he was head coach of a high school team in Georgia. Do you count that? Do you think that's
What was his record?
Okay? I don't remember. I didn't have that. Sorry about that.
There's a tweet out saying that he was 2-8.
Oh wow.
Whoa. Well, that's not
That
good.
doesn't say anything.
Listen to his analysis on the radio and on TV sometimes.
That could have to do with the talented kids. You got to have talent to win.
Absolutely. Oh yeah. I'm not gonna kill him on the fact that he was 2-8 in high school, but the fact that he has no head coaching experience at the college or professional level, where you got a lot of candidates, people of color, that are qualified, highly qualified, but didn't even get a.
It's the Steve Nash move in the NFL.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I said that too. Actually, good point, G. I said the same thing. So my question is, do you think Jeff Saturday is a good hire, temporarily, of course? I've heard him, like I said, on the radio, and I've seen him on TV in his analysis, and he's pretty knowledgeable. He's pretty fun to listen to. So I don't know. I don't really have a problem with it, but
you got.
I'm sure there's going to be.
It's interim, right?
No.
Yes.
Permanent.
No, it's interim.
Okay.
Oh, it's interim?
Okay.
It's interim? Oh, I thought he signed him. Okay.
If it's interim, I guess I don't have an issue with it. I mean, this is a guy who is a Hall of Famer out of your organization. Wanted to give him a chance. If it was permanent, I think I would have a little bit of a problem. It's almost just like you guys said, the NBA. I mean, there's just so many head coaches out there with that have experience that I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Jeff Saturday. What was that?
No. I was just thinking out loud. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know if for Jeff Saturday to qualify to just jump ahead at the list. Besides the fact that, like I said, this is somebody who is a Hall of Famer in this organization. But I guess interim. I know he's been around the team this season. So yeah, I mean, we talked about this. I guess as being a former player, you do get a little bit of up. So especially a Hall of Fame player over other quality candidates as well. So I guess we'll see what he does with these next 9 games, I think it is, or something like that. And
yeah, halfway. We're at the halfway point.
Well, as I thought about it, he could not have been hired permanently because that would have skirted all the way around the Rooney Rule.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right.
And so they have to bring in qualified minority candidates to interview for that position before they.
Right. And hopefully, of course, that will happen. Do you guys think that Peyton Manning will be brought in as the offensive coordinator now? Because him and Saturday are pretty close.
Hey, he might as well ask since he's asking folks.
Yeah.
Right.
Come on, Peyton. But
Yeah,
Peyton got a lucrative job he's doing right now.
Exactly.
Yes, and I'm enjoying the heck out of it, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Eli be like, "Don't leave me hanging, big bro." I'm enjoying doing this and getting paid just to watch Monday Night Football.
Yeah, absolutely.
Used to watch it for free.
Yeah, and Irsay also said that he hired Saturday because even though he has no coaching experience, that's actually what he wants right now.
Yeah.
He said he didn't want a coach with all the experience of being, having the anxiety of playing, making this call or whatever. He knows that Saturday come in green, and he's a leader of men, so he'll just come in here and do that, and that's what he wants right now. So
yeah, he said that coaches nowadays feel the pressure of keeping their jobs and start relying on analytics.
Yes, exactly.
I'm with that too. I mean you got to feel the game. Like analytics aren't always the answer. Like
sure aren't.
So
yeah, ask Scott Service for baseball. But anyway. So all right, so that's that. But we've already established some frauds in the past few weeks.
Pep, tell Andrew Schroeder we already covered the Jets.
Oh yeah,
that's the
Drew, bro. We already covered the Jets.
Don't come in late, Andrew. We already talked about them for about 10 minutes.
Yes. Yeah, before we got into the NFL Pep Talk and fraud report, sir. So come on time next time, and maybe so you'll have to you'll have to listen back at it anyway. So let me get to the fraud report. We've already established some frauds already. We got the Rams, Packers, the Bucks. Yeah, I'm still saying the Bucks are frauds because they struggled mightily against the Rams yesterday and barely got the win. So I'm not going to take them out yet. And of course, the Vegas Raiders are probably the biggest frauds right now. So are there any new ones? Well, are the Bills fraudulent? We just talked about them. So, or did they get caught in the trap game scenario? The Jets were 5-3 coming in, so a trap shouldn't be an issue, or should it? I mean, the Jets stifled the Bills all day. Bills won a huge game in Kansas City a few weeks back, and they beat the Rams, as you guys remember, the first game of the season. So right now, I guess I'm going to have to say they are not fraudulent yet, but we'll see what happens, in their next few games. And the Jets, Andrew, I'm happy for them, because I got a soft spot for them. So they're 6-3 now, right behind Buffalo at 6-2, and of course the Miami Dolphins, Michael Carter's team. Man, they boy, I tell you, they are fun to watch. I watched a lot of that game yesterday. The Dolphins, Tua has been, fabulous. I mean, since he got the concussion, everybody was talking about, well, will he be the same? Well, not only is he the same, well, I won't say he's the same. He's probably better than he's been. That team of Waddle and Tyreek Hill is probably the best in the NFL right now, as far as a wide receiver combo. You can't stop either of them, So, and then plus, once they get Bradley Chubb implemented in their defense, their defensive schemes will be much
Hey,
better,
Pep,
I'm sure.
the
Yeah,
Dolphins are undefeated when Tua Tagovailoa completes a game.
that's
If he
great.
starts the game and
Wow.
completes the game, they have not lost the game.
Right. Yeah, he's something else. Good for him. And it doesn't, you know what? It doesn't even look pretty, because it's hard. It's just hard to describe. But he doesn't throw a pretty ball, right? He's not a fluid
He's a
passer.
lefty.
Yeah, but a lot of lefties look pretty good doing it. Steve Young looked pretty good, with throwing it.
He
So,
looks good to me.
but huh?
He looks good to me.
Oh no, he
Slinging.
looks good. He just doesn't look, he just doesn't stand tall in the pocket and just throw dimes. Like right now, like Gino is, right? But he's the kind of guy that can get it. He'll get it
That's
off.
because Gino's tall. Gino's like
Yeah, he is.
6'4".
Yeah, he is. But Tua is just doing a phenomenal job, so I had to give him some kudos. And of course, I kind of root for the fans because of my boy. So that's the way it is. So they're 6-3 as well, and the Patriots, who are in last place, are 5-4. So all the teams in the AFC East are above 500, which is pretty phenomenal. So I guess you could say right now they are the best division in football. Look at their records.
Yeah, we thought it would be the AFC West, but the
Yeah,
Sure
Raiders
did.
stinking that whole thing up.
Yeah, we all did. Yeah, but there's a lot wrong this season, and I'm sure we'll get into some of that later.
Speaking of standing tall in the pocket, you're standing tall on the screen. You got me and Owen looking like we midgets.
I got a little cushion I'm sitting on. Yeah. Yeah, just call me the light skinned Shaq. Yep, that's it, bro.
That's it.
Yeah, that's
We're
it.
done.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Crowd report's over. Okay. Let's give out some shout outs. I want to give out some shout outs this week, especially to my guy, Justin Fields. I mean, he has had to endure one of the worst operated franchises in the league in the Chicago Bears.
Absolutely.
They drafted him, didn't put anything around him. He has really no weapons.
None.
But yesterday, he put up some numbers, and we have to give him a shout out for running for 178 yards and throwing 3 touchdowns in that narrow loss. And actually, they win that game if one of those dudes that he has a wide receiver could catch the ball.
Right.
He dropped the sure touchdown that would have won the game for them. And so I really want to give Justin Fields a shout out. He's been playing really lights out the last 2 to 3 weeks. And so he's looking good. And then I also the league is really interesting as it stands right now, because from week to week you really don't know who's gonna do what in the league. I mean, you watched the Kansas City Tennessee game last night, and Kansas City barely beats Tennessee with Malik Willis, who, if anybody didn't ever look like they were ready to play a game, it was him, or they just had the training wheels on him so tight that they wouldn't allow him to do anything.
That's definitely.
But so it's very interesting, and Pep, you always say this about the NFL being a league of parity, and you could see that it was some very, very close games yesterday, and they were very fun to watch. The Chargers barely beat Atlanta 20-17. Miami 35, Chicago 32.
Lions.
Well, this was a blowout. Cincinnati, that was a blowout the whole game. Detroit beat Green Bay 14-9. Hey, did you watch that though?
I watched that. I watched the first half. I couldn't watch the second half. that was just atrocious offense. Like,
so is it me, or does Aaron Rodgers look like he doesn't even want to be out there?
I was about to say, there's just no energy out there unless he's frustrated at negative plays that are happening. He's throwing the ball all over the field.
He threw 2 interceptions in the end zone.
Yeah, but a lot of people are trying to say, he has young wide receivers. He's not throwing good passes.
No.
Well, that's what I saw yesterday.
He doesn't look like he wants to be out there. He has no emotion. He's like, whatever, and then he gets mad when something doesn't go his way.
Yeah, it's like, he got paid.
Right, he's throwing his wide receivers under the bus, but he's not doing anything to encourage them or to help them. And
he's not doing nothing.
Terrible.
That's my point. He's just out there collecting a check.
That's exactly what I just said. Looks like he just got paid and he's just chilling.
And the cold piece is their coach, he just looks at him like, ain't nothing I can say.
And if you keep that up, there ain't going to be nothing to say when you're unemployed.
Yeah, well, I blame the Packers. They messed up that whole situation.
I do too.
They did.
And so, it is what it is. The Commanders, Minnesota, they took Minnesota to the wire, 2017. That was a good game as well. I was thinking about this yesterday.
The Vikings would have lost.
Hey, Nancy.
If
I was thinking about this.
What's up,
man? I was thinking about this yesterday, Pep. I was watching. I got a NFL Red Zone now. And so I said, tomorrow I'm going to get on LidLine Sports and start bragging about it like Pep used to do. I got NFL Red Zone. This game is that game. And the other game.
Touche.
So,
you don't have
about Jacksonville beating the Las Vegas Raiders? The Raiders. How long is that guy going to have a job, Josh McDaniels?
I mean, I said it a couple of weeks ago. The guy's a coordinator. He's not a head coach, and that's just the way some dudes are, right? I mean, he's had 2 chances now. He failed in Denver miserably. Went back to the Patriots, led them to another Super Bowl or 2 or whatever, 3, whatever. As a coordinator, and he gets a job again. And last week, before Sunday, they got shut out by the Saints, and we know the Saints. They ain't no shutout great team.
Yeah, there were only 3 games yesterday out of 13 that were under 10 points. I mean, that were over 10 points differential.
Yep,
that's doing some things. The Seahawks 4 in a row beat the Arizona Cardinals. I'm still undecided on the Seahawks. They're playing well right now. Like I said, I don't believe they beat anybody.
That's what I was gonna say. It's about time they play.
I got something to rebut about that.
I want to see now. They played well enough where I want to see what they look like against some real competition. Because they ain't played. You're right. They ain't played real competition in the last 4 or 5 weeks. You're right.
I mean, they played the Cardinals twice, right? They beat the Chargers down there, and like I said, the Chargers only ran the ball 15 times in that game, Pep.
Mm-hmm. I got
15 times.
But after the break, I got a rebuttal for that.
After the break, you got a rebuttal?
Yes, sir.
How about this? We ain't coming back after the break. We'll be right back after these messages. Don't go away. Pep's got a rebuttal.
I go to work like a doctor. When I rock the mic, you got to
Rainier Avenue Radio.
Wash your hands, don't touch your face, wipe things down, clean up your space. When you cough and sneeze, do responsibly. If you feel you're getting ill, isolate at home and chill. No, you're not alone. Please pick up your phone and call 206-477-3977. King County 206-477-3977. Public Health 206-477-3977. King County 206-477-3977. Public Health Community Radio Station will provide you with more information. Say Rainier Avenue Radio. Your community radio station will provide you with more information. Rainier Avenue Radio.
Rainier Avenue Radio presents All Music All Day Saturday. Music All Day Saturday.
This is Edwin Bailey, Bulldog Blue.
Jazz from the Cabinets.
That's right. It's time once again for Jazz from the Cabinets with Big Poppy.
Start Time.
Thanks for tuning in. My name is Paul Pierce. This is Start Time.
Saturdays, all music, all day. Reggae Hour, K-Fox Night.
You looking for the perfect beat? Yeah, it's the beat of the Fox.
Fresh Juice with D-Money in there.
Myself, D-Money. Nice Ice Patron.
Taylor Hart.
This is Spencia, the Northwest Rap Game.
DJ Medina. Chad Cheddar. Northwest Rap Game.
Sergio Lacour's Love Line.
It's Sergio's Love Lines with Sergio LaCour. Go to the phone line. Tell them who we talking.
Sea Monster Radio. Mo Jams is your jam.
We're live. Welcome to Mojo Mondays. This is KZ of KZ Music Media. Caller Goddess for Mojo Mondays.
Just my opinion. God is inspiration. Music all day and all night. Saturdays on RainierAvenueRadio.org.
PrEP is a daily pill that can significantly reduce your chances of getting HIV. And typically, it takes a trip to a physician to get it. Now, you can visit select pharmacies, get tested on the spot, and walk away with your first month of PrEP. Plus, you'll also walk away with a $50 gift card after you complete your pharmacy visit. It's easier than ever to protect yourself from HIV. To find your nearest participating pharmacy, go to doh.wa.gov/PrEP now. The Washington State Department of Health and Public Health, Seattle, and King County.
You know you can't get enough of Rainier Avenue Radio. World.
I wasn't even listening, paying attention at first, and I was like, hey.
I go to work like a doctor. When I rock the mic, you got to like the way I operate. I make
Wait a minute. Welcome back to LidLine Sports. Was that Pep on a commercial?
That Pep?
Yeah, Pep. That was very good, Pep. That was excellent.
You're funny. Thanks.
That was excellent, man. That was worth the listen. I had to tune in for a minute. I was like,
I thought that was
like Pep. That is Pep. What the easy. All right, time for your little rebuttal. That was Pep, Ronnie.
So now it's a little rebuttal.
He was smooth
like,
as glass.
Like you owe me $20. Here's your little funky little $20. Right?
He was smooth
okay,
as
so
glass.
here's the thing. Yeah, here's the thing, guys.
Oh, this your rebuttal?
Okay, so the schedule comes out. This is my rebuttal. Now, we all know that the schedule comes out before the season. We look over the schedule. We check the teams out. We say win, loss, win, whatever. So we all said that the Seahawks would be terrible. Am I correct? We
Correct.
did say that. Okay.
We did.
So you can't say now that they haven't played anybody when you already said at the beginning of the season
Why
that
not?
they're going to be terrible.
Why not?
No, listen.
No. No, go ahead. Finish. I'll let you finish. Go ahead. I'll let you finish.
All right. So we can't say that they haven't played anybody when we already said that they were going to lose to just about everybody. So
Yes,
we at this point, most of us would think they would be 3-6 and not 6-3. Okay. So give them their flowers that they're 6-3.
Y'all said that they was only gonna win 2 games.
Regardless of who they played.
I never said how many games they
on the
win.
schedule.
Yeah, you did.
We already
You
know
did
what the
not.
schedule
You
is.
said after Denver's game that was gonna be the last game that they
I said it might be.
might. Same thing.
No, it ain't. Words matter. Go ahead. I didn't hear the last thing you said, Pep. What was it?
What I said was that
Okay, here's the thing.
You can't just say that you're not playing anybody when you already know what the
I
schedule is
can,
and
Pep.
already said
Here's how.
said that they were going to be
Here's
losing.
Pep, here's how. before the season starts every year. You say, okay, this team's going to do this. This team's going to do that. But then as the season goes along, you see what teams have and what they're doing.
So, yep.
Yes. Come on, man. I had no idea Arizona was going to be as terrible as they are. I had zero idea.
None of us did.
Ron, hey, Nancy, this is my show. I ain't never nobody.
But you can't say, but you can't blame them for winning when
I'm not blaming them.
I was going to say, I'm saying.
But you're saying you're not playing anybody, right?
Yeah.
Whose fault is that?
I'm going to say yes.
It's not anybody's fault. It's not anybody's fault.
Yes, I was going to say.
Anybody's fault. I'm just saying, as their record says that there's all 6-3 records aren't equal.
No, they're not.
Okay, so as I'm saying, I'm looking at who they beat and who they've lost to. They beat the Broncos by 1 at home in the first game of the season. They beat the Lions in Detroit. Were they supposed to win that game? They beat the Cardinals twice, the Chargers, and the Giants. I can't really tell you how good they are.
Okay.
I was going to say,
how did the Packers do against the Lions yesterday? I'll wait.
The Packers ain't any good. That's my point. Before the season, did you?
Okay,
when you looked at the schedule, did you look at Green Bay's schedule and think they would lose to Detroit? No. But last week you knew it was possible for Green Bay to lose to Detroit.
I will say 9 games in, their strength of schedule is not the best. I do agree with you on that, G. That's why all I'm saying.
Last place schedule. Oh.
Yeah, that's why all I'm saying though.
But look at what they're doing while they're beating these teams. They're dominating them.
That's why I'm saying yes. And I know they have at the Buccaneers. That the Buccaneers in Europe. That's why I'm saying though. I want to see them. I agree. I do though. I want to see how they fare out against a team that is above 500 or. You won't see that though for a while unless the Rams.
The Giants.
Yeah. I thought the Chargers was a good win. I did think the Chargers was a good win. I thought the Chargers was a really good win. But you're not gonna see them play juggernauts though until they get down and they play the Chiefs around Christmas.
Kansas City's supposed to be a juggernaut. Am I correct? How have they looked lately? I mean, Tennessee. Come on, man.
You're proving my point. You can't. When you look at the schedule at the beginning of the season. You make a prognostication just like the weather. But you can't say, the weather's good when it changes. And it's not. I mean, the Green Bay Packers on schedule look like before the preseason looked good. Because Tampa Bay before the preseason looked good.
So we can't. So can we not take anything from this Buccaneers game on Sunday too? If they win, we can't really take much from that either because they're.
No, I actually think that would be a good indication.
Okay,
I think that'd be a good because it's this. Tampa Bay has talent; they need to win. Okay. And the Seahawks need to beat Tampa Bay to prove that they are on the come up. That's my point. I'm not going to say anything if they lose to Tampa Bay because Tampa Bay is a Super Bowl caliber team.
What if they're just playing down? What does that do?
They're just playing down right now, and their issue basically to me has been Tom Brady.
They can't run it.
Huh?
Tom Brady's not turning the ball over. He's not playing the worst.
No.
He can't run, bro.
I said this before. Team chemistry matters. And when Tom Brady was going through all this stuff, taking 11 days off, flying to go to Robert Kraft's wedding on Friday night and then meeting the team at another location, that all messes with dudes, right? And then he was going through a divorce, finally got it finalized, right? And he did not look happy. You look at him, he's lost all kind of weight, right? And so all that goes into it. So maybe the comeback win Sunday helps Tampa Bay get back to their swag, okay? And so I think if the Seahawks go over to Germany and handily beat Tampa Bay, it'll show me something. I thought that they showed me something against the Chargers. However, as I explained during the Charger game, the Chargers were missing their starting left tackle, all right? And the person harassing their quarterback the whole game was Chinonwosu, who plays the right outside linebacker. So he was killing a little backup tackle. And they got out coached because their coach is so cavalier. He wants to throw the ball all the time. When everybody knew at that particular time that you could run on the Seahawks, and they only ran the ball 15 times. And so I don't understand these dudes that keep playing the Seahawks. And I'll give it to Pete Carroll because he keeps out coaching these dudes. Because they're always coming up with some kind of crazy way to try to beat the Seahawks, which is not taking advantage of their weaknesses. So I want to see them. Yes, they're playing a non-playoff schedule, but I want to see them. For me to know how good they are, I have to see them play like Buffalo or Kansas City, and the NFC is so weak anyway. Let me see them up against Dallas or Philadelphia, but all this won't happen until they get to the playoffs. So based upon their record, Pep, I predict that they go 11-6.
Yeah, and I'm okay with that. But what I'm saying is, look, we don't want them playing Philly, Dallas, or Buffalo or Kansas City right now. To be honest.
Oh, as a fan, yes. If you're talking about as a fan, I'm not. I got my analyst hat on now, not a fan.
Right. But what you want right now is you want to see them continue to keep improving game by game like they are doing.
I think they've done that, yes.
Until they get to that playoff time, and then we'll see what happens when they come up against somebody like San Francisco even, right? Because, San Francisco, we all know that they're pretty good, but, they've had a few stumbles. They stumbled against Atlanta. They've stumbled against Chicago and whatnot. So they're kind of iffy too. But the Seahawks, the way they have played and showed improvement game by game, and we're into week 9 now. So this is who they are, who they're becoming. Yeah. And I can't see them falling backwards unless something drastic happens, right? Like in this next game, they have an injury they can't afford to have. Like they can't afford to have Ken Walker go down at any point.
Everybody has injuries. An NFL is a game of attrition.
Yeah.
Everybody has injuries.
Yeah. So that was my point. I mean,
that's a good rebuttal.
Yeah.
No, it was.
Go ahead. Let's go to the NBA. We got to talk about NBA.
I'm not being facetious, Pepper. That was a good rebuttal.
It's all good, brother.
Okay. To the NBA.
Yeah, man. It sucks that, we're about to talk about the NBA, and there's really not much to talk about on the court, or there is, but there's been a lot of things happening off the court. And the NBA has become the new NFL with all this stuff going on. Last week, the Nets once again were in headlines. Started out early on in the week after winning a game. I forget against who. The Nets turned around and fired Steve Nash the next day. And we just talked about this last week that it was inevitable to come. I didn't think that it was going to come this soon. I think Pep said that possibly that it needs to happen sooner than later. But he got fired. Then you started hearing rumors that possibly Ime Udoka, they got on the line with him. Nothing's been finalized with that yet. Jacques Vaughn is the new interim coach right now. And then later on in the week, Kyrie Irving decided to post a documentary about the history of Jews. And this is, as we know, going on, a lot of things are going on with anti-Semitics towards Jews out in the media. So there were some anti-Semitic views in that video that he posted, and it created a lot of backlash for him. And we all know that Kyrie is one person who is not going to hold his tongue. He's going to do what he wants, say what he feels. This one, he didn't say anything. He just posted it. Like I said, he came out with backlash. And the Nets gave him the opportunity following day to apologize towards the media. And he didn't. He said that his views were his views and that he is not anti-Semitic and that he loves all types of people of all race, all religions, and that he cannot be anti-Semitic if he knows where he comes from. And that did not rub the general manager or owner Joe Tsai or Adam Silver.
Oh, he did not say that he was not anti-Semitic.
He did not say he was not. He didn't.
He said he knows where he comes from.
Yes, he said I cannot be anti-Semitic if I know where I come from. So beating around. So two things that the Nets wanted to look for out of him: an apology, and for him to say that he is not anti-Semitic. Two things he did not say. More fire came on, and general manager decided to suspend Kyrie Irving for at least 5 games after not apologizing in the media. And this was also, too, after Joe Tsai had tried to reach out to Kyrie Irving, and rumor was that he did not reach back out to him. And I think that you guys know I think this is more than just this issue when it comes to Kyrie Irving. This is a lot of things boiling up when it comes to Kyrie Irving. So now that they've given him a list of things to do, apologize. He did that a couple days ago on his Instagram, donating $500K to a Jewish organization. I think he has to take some type of class, and I forget what the last thing is. But I've never seen a suspension like this before. It's hard to really say if that's all warranted for what he did. But yeah, there's a lot going on with the Brooklyn Nets, man. This is all after how the summer they had. And then Ben Simmons been in and out of the lineup, and him not really being able to do much. What's the thoughts about the Kyrie situation and Brooklyn as a whole, like everything going on over there?
Pep, you got thoughts?
And, Brooklyn's a mess right now, honestly. Even though they won the last couple of games they played over the weekend without Kyrie. So situation is, Kyrie and, KD's situation. If it's not one thing, it's another. Or if it's not one thing, it's two. So I don't know much about the documentary, admittedly. I haven't watched it. I don't know a whole lot about it, so I can't really say too much about what I think about Kyrie because I'm not up to snuff on it, admittedly. But man, this internet is something else. I mean, man, you gotta be careful on what you post. For a fact that when you're gonna post something like this, that some backlash will be coming. I mean, how do you not know this? Right? It's a controversial documentary to begin with, and with Kanye and all that. So when you're going to post something with that topic, backlash is coming. So I don't understand. I would like to understand what's going on inside Kyrie's head, because I know Kyrie's not a bad guy. I remember him in high school when I was living in Jersey. The guy is phenomenal. Right, J.R. Reed. I remember. Smith when he was in high school. And so he's had his own issues, but he's doing great now, playing golf in college and all that. But man, it's disheartening with this Kyrie thing because Kyrie was my guy. To be honest, he was one of my favorite players when he was at Cleveland. When he went to Boston, I don't like the Celtics, but I've always been a Kyrie guy. Just like I was a Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf guy, even before his anthem situation back in the 90s. Before all that happened, I was Chris Jackson, Mahmoud. That was my guy, and he's still my guy. Through all of that. So I'm just disheartened by Kyrie because he's been my guy, like Mahmoud, and I still love him as a player, but I just don't know what's going on in his head.
Yeah, a few things. I might say some things that are controversial. I don't know. But a few things with Kyrie. Number one, Kyrie he calls himself a free thinker. And he always thinks that what he says is profound and the truth. The earth is flat. You can't tell Kyrie the earth is not flat. All right, which is bizarre. Kyrie said that the vaccine would kill you, which is crazy. And so I feel like Kyrie delves into propaganda And the problem with the internet, as you say, Pep, now is there's so much propaganda on the internet. It's hard to tell what's true and what's being made up or massaged to look like truth.
Mm-hmm.
And so he got this video, Hebrews to Negroes, that was put out by the Black Israelites. All right. And in that video are some things that are not true about Jewish people. Okay. And so when they found out, Kyrie posted the video. If he had never posted it, probably this would never even happen. But he posted the video because he's a public person. There are people who went and examined the video. His Jewish fans, okay? Fans of Kyrie that were Jewish were hurt by him posting it and by his stand on it, okay? And I'll say this, like, I don't know, I feel like I'm blessed because I was born Pentecostal. My daddy was a Pentecostal preacher. Mom and daddy got divorced. I grew up Baptist, going to Baptist church, Mount Zion with my mama. I worked 9 years at a Kojic church in Los Angeles. I worked at a Jewish community school teaching PE for 6 years. And now I work at a Jesuit Catholic school for the last 13 years. We have to stop generalizing people, okay? There's good and bad in every group, okay? So we can't generalize people. It hurts the people that haven't done the things that their people have done. We as Black people don't want people generalizing us, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so we can't turn around and start doing things to people what we don't want done to us.
Correct.
We just can't do it, right? And when that happens, we just can't jump on our side and not see how it's hurting other people, right? Like, this situation to me is stupid. It's like, okay, Kyrie, you posted this video. It's a hurtful video to a lot of people who are your fans. The commissioner of the league where you make millions of dollars is Jewish. Okay? Can you just come out and say you're not anti-Semitic? No, I'm not. He comes up with some, how can I be anti-Semitic because I know where I'm from? What does that mean, Kyrie?
I think that's the part that bothered me the most was, regardless of what his opinion was, it was the fact that you were asked to apologize because you did hurt the community. And to just say that you were not anti-Semitic, which you're saying you're not, but why do you have to say it in 1,000 words? And why do you have to say it to your wife?
Yeah.
Which has always just been him.
I'm not trying to bash Kyrie. I don't want to bash Kyrie. I just want to say, Kyrie, it didn't even have to get to all this. First of all, in 2020, Nick Cannon went through the whole same thing. You didn't learn from Nick Cannon? And actually what they're asking Kyrie to do is the same thing they had Nick Cannon do.
Right.
Right? When they fired him from Viacom CBS, took him off The Masked Singer. All right. And so we got to learn from other people's mistakes. And so we don't repeat them. And so I feel like if he would have just, I don't understand how you, and people want to boycott the NBA. I'm like, no, you don't even want to boycott the NFL for Colin Kaepernick. No, not for this. All right. Colin Kaepernick stood up for people being gunned down by the police. He stood up for his convictions. He lost his job for his convictions. He didn't come back 4 days later and say, okay, I was wrong. Kyrie came back 2 weeks later and said, I'm wrong. Why didn't he say that from the beginning? He could have just said that day one. The apology he made last week, he could have did that day one, right? And not had to pay the Defamation League $500,000. The NBA wouldn't have had to match the $500,000. He would have lost 5 game checks worth over $250,000 and not have to go through all this training. I mean, just because you want to be stubborn, prove a point. So my final point in this is no one smart goes to war without first sitting down and counting up the cost. So if you're going to take a stand, count up the cost first and see if you want to really take that stand and lose what you might lose in that fight. All right. And so if it was a situation where he believed in his convictions and stood on his convictions and said, I'm not going to play basketball if you're going to make me do all that, then, hey, I'll respect that. I'll still think it's wrong, but I'll respect it. But don't come back 2 weeks later. Now you're going to do what they asked you to do 2 weeks ago and then blame them for it. Like, no.
Yeah.
Now, where's that documentary? Is it on Amazon Prime?
Yeah, I heard it was on Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
Now, why is Kyrie getting so much flack and Bezos here?
So here's the deal. Kyrie works for the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the Brooklyn Nets. And so if you know anything about Brooklyn, anybody been to Brooklyn? You've been to Brooklyn.
Yep.
Do you know Brooklyn's got one of the biggest Jewish populations not in Israel?
Absolutely.
That's why. Okay.
Good point.
That's why. The Nets had to do something, right? And now I feel like, yes, pressure needs to be put on Amazon to take it down. But I don't know there is the right to free speech or whatever. I don't know. They'd have to,
but it don't absolve you from consequences.
Yeah. And it doesn't absolve Kyrie from consequences either. And so that's the other thing when people say about free speech. And let me make this one point about free speech too, that people get altogether wrong. You have the right to say stuff, but if you say it in America, you have the right to say it and not go to jail. That's what free speech means. Yeah. Doesn't mean that you don't have consequences from your speech. It means that you can say it and not go to jail. In other countries, you could say it and they would lock you up for what you said. Okay? We're all out of time. Anybody have any other thoughts? You got anything quick you want to say? Oh, I'm sorry. Taking
Power rankings this week. Bucks at number 1, undefeated. Cavs at 2. The Suns at 3. Celtics at 4. And them Jazz keep rolling. Number 5.
Let's go, Cavs.
I like the Cavs.
All right. Thank you, Pep. I appreciate you, bro. Otis, appreciate you. Next week, I will not be here. We start practice on next Monday, and I'll be in freshman tryouts at this time next week. All right. Bye, Rhonda. We'll stay warm, stay dry. Thank you all for listening to LidLine Sports with Renault, Pepe Bean, Otis Stevenson, and myself, Granville Emerson. They'll see you next week. They'll be good because they are good. I'll holla.
Go Hawks.
Yeah, go Hawks.
I go work